All right, it's officially Christmas morning. It's the NCAA Tournament selection show, Selection Sunday. We wait for this year all year long. I've got Luke Close with me here today, another college basketball fanatic like myself, and we're going to be breaking this thing down as it gets released. But, we've got a few minutes here so we can discuss some of the trending storylines before we really get into it.
Hey, yeah. And obviously, I think we need to start with the big one. That's Cooper Flagg's availability with Duke.
Yes.
They are, with Flagg, they are the most dynamic team in the country outside of maybe Florida. I will say Florida is playing the best basketball out of anybody right now.
Yeah.
But without Flagg, Duke is vulnerable, and it just takes running into the wrong matchup for Duke to get beat. So everybody's just anxious to hear what Cooper Flagg's availability is and what his timetable for return is.
Which watching it happen on Thursday, against Georgia Tech, rolling that ankle, it was terrible to see. Prayers up for Cooper Flagg. But a rolled ankle. The minute that got released that was a rolled ankle, a sprained ankle, I was like, sit him the rest of the ACC tournament and just let him ice that thing up. There's no reason to play him. If he just spends a couple days off of it, he's going to be just fine for Thursday. Especially, you could even argue resting him against a 16 seed.
Right. And as Duke proved in the ACC championship game against Louisville, they can still grit and grind you out without Cooper Flagg. Malawak down low, he's a big factor. And it's crazy to say, but starter at Purdue last year, Mason Gillis, might actually be the X factor as the 8th man on this Duke team. So they are loaded from top to bottom. Isaiah Evans can shoot the 3 ball. The offense won't be missed. The dynamic playmaking ability of Flagg will be, though.
Duke is deep. Duke is stacked, and I think that there's this perception that Cooper Flagg is out. They're going to collapse like a house of cards. That's not the reality at all. You look at the team. You've got Kneppel, you've got Proctor. Like there's solid guys on this team.
And then another thing I want to talk about is how many teams does the SEC get in, because the record currently is 11, and the SEC almost will certainly beat that record. It's more about whether or not they get 13 or 14 in. That's the real question.
That is just insane, because growing up, it was always I never thought the ACC would be topped. You looked in that conference, you had Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina State. You had Maryland in there for a long time. I still consider them to be an ACC team. Virginia Tech and Miami, and at one point they were all good at the same time.
Right.
And now, that's fallen off hard. But then growing up, you had the Big East as well. Syracuse, Georgetown, UConn, all these powerhouses,
and legendary coaches to go with them.
What's that?
And the legendary coaches that coach them too, that are all out of college basketball now.
I know. Villanova, Jay Harris gone, or Jay Wright gone now. It's all right. We have our first matchup. Auburn will be playing the winner of Alabama State and St. Francis, PA. Auburn is a 1 seed. It's official.
Auburn, and as much as it pains me to say it, they deserve it. They've lost 3 out of 4 going into this tournament, but they had the best body of work.
I have to agree. Like as far as roster goes and depth and the season they put together, they deserve to be number 1. Louisville is an 8 seed.
And that's going to be a tough one for Auburn if they get drawn that.
So that is not a favorable draw at all. They almost beat Duke. They're going to get the winner of Louisville and Creighton.
Which, and in my opinion, Auburn fans will be cheering for Creighton in that game.
It's still a shitty draw because Creighton's scrappy. All right, they've got the Big Ten champion on their roster. Michigan, or in their bracket, Michigan is a 5 seed, and they will be playing. And this is on Thursday. This is the Denver region.
And Michigan was almost slated at the 5 seed, even with the Big Ten championship or not. They were always going to be a 5.
They're playing one of my favorite mid-majors, UC San Diego.
And I really hope to see UC Irvine in the tournament as well. It was a great championship game. UC San Diego coming from Division III 5 years ago to D1 now. Awesome transition period for them.
It's an incredible story.
It is. I hope to see them do well, and Michigan's beatable.
We've got A&M. This will be on Thursday. You've got A&M as a 4 seed. A 10-loss 4 seed. That's incredible.
A team that just beat Auburn less than 2 weeks ago. They
got Yale.
Wow. And Yale is in Auburn's pod again.
Can you believe they're on? Could you imagine that Sweet 16 rematch?
And X is gonna love this.
Oh my God! Another SEC team, Ole Miss. So we've already got three
SEC teams in.
They play the winner of San Diego State and North Carolina.
So North Carolina did get in.
They got in, but they're a first 4 team.
Well, and I'll tell you what, neither of those teams are going to be walks in the park for Ole Miss. North Carolina have been playing better basketball, but I'm shocked to see the Tar Heels in here. I don't like it. They were 1-12 against quad 1 opponents. I don't like it at all, but some would argue that the brand goes bigger than the basketball.
Why I like them being in is because I think they can beat Ole Miss. I really do.
Fair enough, and that's all you're trying to do.
Iowa State is playing Lipscomb, 3-14.
Iowa State, another team that has been kind of rocky over the past month. I like Curtis Jones. I like Momcilovic. I like Iowa State.
They're turbulent, but at the right time, if they get hot, they're scary. All right, Marquette and New Mexico. We've got that could be an upset right there. That one gives me New Mexico came close last year. I think they could pull this one off.
And I'll tell you this, I'm the guy that falls in love with the Mountain West Darlings. I will be taking Marquette in this because of Nevada last year. That's all I've got to say.
Don't even get me started on that game. I think I lost 5 years off that game.
Nevada or New Mexico, it's Nevada's fault.
All right, we've got Michigan State playing Bryant, the 2-15 game. I like Michigan State heavy in that game. I think that'll be like a 20-point victory.
Michigan State is the one team that I said Auburn didn't want to see as their number 2 because Michigan State will grit and grind you, and they've got guys that can play down low with Janai Broome and guard on the perimeter, and they're dynamic on the ball. Auburn could be in trouble.
They are the perfect nightmare matchup for Auburn in every facet.
And so is A&M. I mean, this is a tough draw for Auburn with the number 1 overall seed. I think that I do see them get to the second weekend, obviously. But from there, it's a coin flip from there. I like this region a lot. Very dynamic regions, very dynamic matchups, good mid-majors. I really like this. I like this South region a lot.
Yeah, the South region's deep. I mean, you've got a lot of very capable teams on this side of the bracket, but you've also this may be one of the deepest gauntlets to play through because I look at all these teams and it seems like you have the best of everything. Like there's a chance that Bryant could be your best 15 seed. Lipscomb is definitely the scariest 14 seed to play. They're one of the scariest mid-majors out there. You've got North Carolina, who we didn't know if they were going to get in or not on the side of the bracket, and they're always a scary team to play at this time of year. And then just having Auburn and Michigan State on the same side, it's scary.
And this is also important to note that San Diego State and North Carolina take 2 of those last 4 end spots. So what does this mean for Xavier? What does this mean for Texas? What does this mean for Boise State? I mean, it's not looking good if you're one of those teams, that's for sure.
Yeah, seeing San Diego State eclipse them was
right. And you know what? San Diego State has almost earned that right through previous tournament runs. You know what you're going to get with them, and I mean, it's not like they're any team to be like blown over. I mean, they're not going to lose to North Carolina just by giving up. They just don't think they have as much talent as they have had in previous years.
Hell, they were in the Final Four 2 years ago. I mean, this is a very capable program, but granted, compared to that team, the talent on this one is very much diluted.
It is 100%. And the real question is I want to see this team get in just because of the storyline, and I know I've hated on this coach for a while, Mike Woodson with Indiana. I think that they've done enough to get in, but seeing North Carolina and San Diego State, if you're a Hoosier fan, you're sweating right now.
I I'll be honest with you. Indiana's a team that I really don't think that they have the resume to get in. I don't think that they deserve to get in.
That's fair enough. I mean, I said this all along. Outside of Michigan State and Maryland and I guess Wisconsin, I would like to play a Big Ten team. I don't think the Big Ten is as deep as it has been in previous years, and that's probably a pretty obvious statement to make. But the good teams and the bad teams, just like that gap is big.
I was gonna say, isn't it funny how the Big Ten almost seems like the exact same that it is in college football this year, in basketball, very top heavy. You know, you've got Michigan State, you've got Wisconsin, you've got Maryland, you've got Michigan.
Right.
You get below that,
Illinois,
UCLA.
Yeah, it's not
Oregon.
Yeah, and Oregon's a team I'm interested to see where they get drawn because they're very capable. I'm a big Dana Altman fan. They beat Alabama. They have really good wins, but they have really bad losses as well.
And that's what you can't have. Those losses, they weigh on you at this time of year. And when you get evaluated on a day like today,
right? And it's full body of work as shown by Auburn being the number 1 seed. It's not about what happened these last 2 weeks. It's about the whole season. Even those November games, they will come back and they'll help you, or they will come back and they'll hurt you.
No, it's such a long season, and I'll watch college basketball in November. Sometimes I'll be like, all right, really, how much does this game really matter? But it really does, because it can, depending on the position you're in, it can be the difference between you getting it and not.
And I'll tell you what, I bet North Carolina was sitting there before they got in. They're like, man, I really wish I had that game against Alabama back. Man, I really wish I had that game against Auburn back. Like, I mean, they played. I'll say this: they played a lot of very good teams. They didn't get a lot done. I know you said that they can beat them, but they haven't proven to beat anybody.
Yeah,
I feel like the argument's not great for you. I don't think the bubble's very good this year. I think we've had a lot better bubbles in previous years, but I'm not a huge fan of North Carolina getting in. I think it's a brand notice.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Duke has blown them out 2 or 3 times.
Right. And it seems like they've almost valued that last Duke game as a win.
All right. Duke is the 1 seed in the East. They're playing the winner of American and Mount St. Mary's.
I'll book that one as a Duke win.
That's going to be an absolute atrocity, that game. All right. They drew State. Mr. Hubbard.
Yeah.
As a walking bucket.
I think I don't see a lot of offensive capability in Mississippi State against this Duke defense, though.
No, Duke's defense is insane. All right, they're playing the winner of Mississippi State and Baylor.
Baylor is a team to watch out for. We could have a Cooper Flag versus VJ Edgecombe matchup. That's what everybody wants to see. The diaper dance.
Game 2. That could be Cooper Flag's return. I wouldn't play Cooper Flag against American or Mount St. Mary's. I'm not going to lie to you. I would sit him.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But I mean,
Oregon and Liberty, a Fiesta Bowl rematch.
And I'll tell you what, Liberty is good. They're slept on. You might not have watched much of them. I watched a few games of theirs early in the year and in the conference tournament. Very good. But there's Oregon, what we were just talking about, 5 seed, little high.
And they drew Duke, which is honestly a good draw for them for a 1 seed. I think they match up well.
I might take Liberty in that matchup though.
Arizona and Akron.
And that game is going to be up tempo.
Yes.
Mean,
very fast paced, a lot of offense.
Akron escaped against Miami, Ohio, and their conference championship game. Arizona, talk about improvement throughout the year. There's not a team that's improved more.
Oh yeah, that is your most improved team of the year.
They're all
without a doubt, because there was one point where their season was in shambles.
The emergence of Henry Vasar down low is what done it for him.
Oh my God, yeah, it was a spark plug. All right, we got BYU and VCU, and an old tournament relic from 2012.
Hey, Max Shulga, he's NBA ready. I like VCU.
Yes, he is.
And so is Joe Bomasil. I love Joe Bomasil. I love VCU. I love what they got going. I love the Atlantic 10 Conference.
Yeah, the A10 that George Mason VCU game was electric earlier. I watched the second half of that, and I was amazed.
George Mason's a tournament team too, in my opinion.
I think they deserve it again. Will they? That's a
No,
question, but I think they deserve it. Wisconsin and Montana.
And I haven't watched much of Montana. I know the Big Sky tends to have some of the fastest playing teams in the country. Obviously, South Dakota State was upset by Trace and Eaglestaff in North Dakota. Montana gets in. It's an opportunity against Wisconsin.
It most certainly is. They have an opportunity to prove themselves, and I think that's something that they'll take very seriously. We got St. Mary's and Vandy. Vandy's in.
I think this might be Alabama's bracket. I don't want to skip to just go out there and predict something, but I do think, and that's just my bias coming through. I'm anxious right now too, but
I could see them being the 2 here for Cleveland.
Vandy, I like Vandy a lot. Struggled a little bit in the conference.
Bama, they're in.
Yep, there it is. Wisconsin, Duke, and Bama.
Oh man, seeing Vanderbilt week in the round of 32.
And I will say don't want to toot my own horn here, but I said that it will be Duke, Wisconsin, and Bama in one region as the top 3 seeds. This is going to be an interesting matchup for Bama. I think that it's a good draw, but that top half of the bracket is really lurking.
No, we got Robert Morris.
Yeah, hey, Robert Morris. I haven't watched much of you. I'm sorry. I know you beat Kentucky in the NIT one year. That's all I got for you.
They played Duke one year, and I grew up a Duke fan. They played us, and I think they were 16 seed. They absolutely destroyed by Duke. But if you remember last year, Alabama was technically supposed to play St. Mary's.
Yeah, I know.
And instead it was Grand Canyon, but they're supposed to play St. Mary's.
St. Mary's is you know what you're going to get from St. Mary's. They're going to grind you down. They did lose Aiden Mahaney to UConn in the transfer portal, and he was a big part of what they want to do. But Marshall Onis, great player. The thing about St. Mary's also lost Joshua Jefferson to Iowa State. St. Mary's, you know what you're going to get from them. They're going to try to slow you down. I could see Alabama having a potential matchup like Grand Canyon last year, where it's going to have to take some grit and fight. But as an Alabama fan, I'm excited. I really like this region. And Alabama was also supposed to play Arizona last year too, but they were beat by Clemson. So
right.
So it's a lot of parallels here. Wisconsin, John Tanji, he's the best player in the Big Ten in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he's dynamic.
And BYU might be the hottest team in the country right now. So we'll see how they go up against VCU, who's also been hot. I think Alabama and Auburn have 2 winnable regions for sure, but there's definitely some tough tests.
The question for Alabama is it's going to come down to Grant Nelson and his health. I mean, that's if his knee is severely injured, that's going to be a huge blow.
Did you see anybody in that region that you could put on upset alert in the first round?
Let me go back down the.
I know it's Wisconsin plays Akron, or Arizona plays Akron. That's one that Liberty and Oregon.
I'll pull the bracket back up. I think Wisconsin will beat Montana.
I agree.
I love VCU.
I'm a big VCU.
I love VCU, but I think Arizona will beat Akron.
Right.
I think Oregon and Liberty is going to be a game.
Yeah, I do too. It's going to be a street fight.
I think that's going to be an absolute just slugfest of a game. Mississippi State and Baylor, that's your typical just 8-9 game, 2 very, very evenly matched teams. I think
flip a coin.
Yeah, that's a flip a coin game. Duke and American, or Mount St. Mary's. I think that's an absolute slaughter.
Zoom.
Yeah, that's a 40-piecer.
That's a freight train coming at poor St. Mary's, Mount St. Mary's.
And that's Cooper Flag or no Cooper Flag. Like that, they're gonna blow their doors off.
Maluach will be the biggest center that either of those teams have probably played in program history.
Oh my God!
I mean, he is just a beast down low.
That dude's like a freight train coming at you.
I saw him. I saw I saw him throw up on the court earlier, get back in the play, and finish. So
the NC State game. I don't know what the deal was in Cameron Indoor that night, but there was something with the thermostat.
Yeah, I thought we might have been going on COVID-25 after that night.
And then the one girl fainted too. Remember that?
Yeah, I was like checking that because I was doing some schoolwork, so I was checking on Real App, and I was like, "What the hell is going on? It's been 4 minutes left for like 25 minutes." Yeah,
it was a weird game. It was like when Alabama played Auburn last year, and the lights were out for the first 15 minutes.
Tell me about that game. I was there, and now the joke is when I hope the lights turn back on every time Alabama does their light show. But I'm really excited for Alabama's draw. I think it's going to be interesting, and I like seeing Vandy down there at the 10 seed. Don't sleep on them.
I love it. I want to see Vandy.
I don't think Vandy is a good matchup for I think Alabama is a bad matchup for Vanderbilt as well. Yes. Vice versa. I don't think Vandy can do it. St. Mary's. It's a pretty decent draw for Alabama. I expect to see Wisconsin there. In the regional semifinals.
I will say I think I like St. Mary's to beat Vanderbilt too. They got upset last year. I think it was just something mentally. I always see this in the tournament. Like when you get upset, when you get embarrassed the year before, you usually bounce. It's circled on your calendar. And St. Mary's is a program that's ascended greatly these past couple of years. I think we'll see the Gales win.
What region do you think is tougher right now? Auburn's region or Duke's region?
I think there's a higher volume of really good teams in Auburn's region.
I agree, from mid-major level and up.
Yeah, I think there's more depth. I think this one's more top-heavy. I think having Duke, Alabama, and Wisconsin in the same bracket is daunting to say the least.
I agree. There's no easy roads in March.
Houston is in this next one, and Houston is a Final Four team to me.
You think so?
Yeah. If their biggest thing is health, they're playing SIU Edwardsville, and they are going to absolutely pummel them.
Those are your boys at SIU Edwardsville, man.
SIU Edwardsville. I'm happy for them. This is their first time ever making the tournament. I'm happy for them.
Those are your boys, man.
They are. I like a good story. Like, oh, shit. All right, I'm going to pump the brakes on Houston. They got Gonzaga.
And we were talking about that.
That is the best second-round game that I could possibly imagine. Houston and Gonzaga. That's a game that you'd think to get in the Elite Eight.
Gonzaga's good on the metrics. They have 8 losses by 24 points combined. 5 of them are in overtime. Something's got to give.
Yeah. This is and they got Georgia as their draw at the 9th. How does Georgia get 9 seed?
I'm not high on Georgia.
Me neither.
Mike White, he's kind of known for giving up big leads, like coming out in first half, not being able to make adjustments. Gonzaga, I expect them to roll over Georgia, and I expect to see a Houston-Gonzaga second-round matchup. That'll be the game of the day.
Oh, Clemson drew McNeese.
And it seems like Clemson always is on upset watch in the tournament.
Clemson is one of those teams they're either going to go to the Final Four, get upset in the first round, and that is the worst possible matchup you could possibly imagine.
Will Wade at McNeese State and possibly his final run with McNeese. I've heard a lot of him going to NC State for the job, so we'll see how McNeese State does.
This is I hope they pull it off. I like Clemson, but that would be electric. All right, High Point just got in. High Point is playing Purdue.
High Point is the team that I'm most excited to watch. One of the historically best offenses for a mid-major and someone of their caliber of conference.
Yes.
And history of KenPom.
And playing a Purdue team that's kind of down on the scoring end this year.
And coming off of that Final Four run, there's upset potential there.
Yeah, that's one. This so far, the Midwest, as far as upsets go, I think you can see the most out of this one.
I'm interested to see how McNeese performs because they were the most picked 12 seed last year, and they didn't really show up. So maybe it's revenge.
I never bought into them last year, but because of their schedule was so weak. But Illinois is going to play the winner of Texas and Xavier.
There it is. I like the X-Men getting in. But does that mean Indiana's out?
Yeah.
And Indiana, so Mike Woodson's Mike
I mean,
Woodson's
they
last
lost
game.
5 straight games at one point this year. I mean,
Mike Woodson's last game will be in the NIT.
it's a very much needed end of an era. Ooh, Kentucky playing Troy. Prayers up for Troy, Alabama right now.
My boys down there, I hope they're doing good. I love to see some Alabama in there.
I do. We saw Samford last year. We got Troy this year.
Alabama State.
We got Alabama State. We almost got UAB. We could still get UAB.
We almost got Jacksonville State.
Yeah, that one killed me. We could have gotten like a Bama Cinco-Fecta.
The state of Alabama is this basketball state capital of the world right now, is what they've been saying.
Yep. Remember it, damn it. Okay, UCLA and Utah State.
I like Utah State. I like the Aggies.
There's some upset potential there.
UCLA is they're systematically great, though. I see Utah State, one of the most prolific teams in the country. If you watch them, they play beautiful basketball. I love what they're doing there, especially after losing Mark Pope to Kentucky last year. I'm really excited to see this matchup. This is an interesting one.
Then we got Tennessee and Wofford. So we got Tennessee, Houston, Clemson, Purdue. This is interesting.
It's gonna be a gritty region for sure. I think anybody should be happy to see Kentucky as your 3 right now. They're really banged up. They're hurt. But I'm really excited to see Texas and Xavier. Texas gets in. Does Oklahoma get in?
I think they have to.
And that's if Texas and Oklahoma get in, that's 14 SEC teams.
Wow, it's the record. Shatter the record.
That might never be done again.
I've never seen a conference this deep in any sport as the SEC was in basketball this year. I mean, even all those Big East years growing up, I never saw anything like this. Most games, I mean, you were getting like 3 to 4 ranked games every weekend.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I'd wake up every Saturday and it'd be a top 10 matchup.
There was not a down Saturday this year.
Now, granted, most of the time I had to watch Alabama in one of those top 10 matchups over the last month, but
yeah, sweat it out.
So, how do we rank these regions now?
That one's probably the most exciting one to me because March is all about upsets, and I see the most upset potential in the Midwest.
If you could give a superlative to the Midwest region, what would it be?
Most chaotic.
I was about to say chaos.
Most chaotic. And I'm going to say it right now. If you're Houston, for the rest of college basketball, do not let Gonzaga get by.
Yeah.
If you let Gonzaga get by, they will terrorize the field. They will go to the Final Four.
For Auburn's region, what superlative would you give?
Most gauntlet-esque. I
like that.
Just tough to get through.
I was going to say heavy lifting. The heavy lifters of the league. That's going to be a hard one for Auburn. And then for Alabama region, what superlative would you give?
For Alabama's region, I would say best matchups. The potential for the best matchups.
I like that. I'm going to say fast-paced.
And fast-paced. You're going to have a lot of high-scoring games on that side.
Outside, Duke can score. They can score.
Duke can score in a hurry. Alabama can score in a hurry.
Wisconsin can score in a hurry. I know they didn't do it today, but some of that stuff could be said about fatigue. Obviously, Akron, really fast-paced team. Arizona, fast-paced team.
Yeah, Arizona's dynamic, and Arizona's been one of the great stories this year, just because of how they've been able to bounce back after having a shitty start to the year.
Do you think Houston's region is tougher than Auburn's?
I don't think it's tougher overall from top to bottom. I just think there's a couple of real pesky teams in there that can give people hell.
Yeah,
like a Gonzaga. To be honest, I would hate playing Tennessee too, just because of how physical they are.
Right.
On defense, like that, I would hate that matchup because I just know my guys are gonna get beat up.
You might, yeah, I was about to say you might beat them, but they're going to beat you up to get there.
Oh, it's gonna be. It's like that Alabama Grand Canyon game last year. Like you just know you're gonna go through a gauntlet.
Dude, I know I've already said it once, but the bubble, I find it interesting. So we got Texas and Xavier, and North Carolina and San Diego State. That's an interesting first four.
North Carolina and San Diego State might be the best first four game I've ever seen.
I'm gonna pump the brakes on that one with you. UCLA and Michigan State a couple of years ago.
That was good. I forgot about that one. That was good. You got me there.
That was one, but this is definitely up there in terms of success over the last couple of years. Both of these teams have been to the Final Four in the last 4 years. Both these teams have been to the national championship in the past 4 years.
Yeah, Kansas and North Carolina and San Diego State and UConn. Okay, Florida's the best team in college basketball. I don't think it's even close. They're in the West region, the 1 seed.
So this means they were the 4th overall seed.
Yeah. How the fuck that is, I have no idea.
I disagree with that.
Disrespected all year long, and you know what? This is oh god, poor Norfolk State. They're gonna get steamrolled.
Norfolk State will be back in Virginia 24 hours after this game is scheduled.
Yeah, it's shit. Those poor guys. I like Norfolk State. They gave us a good upset back in 2011 over Missouri.
Norfolk State also was the last game that Avery Johnson coached. The last team Avery Johnson coached against. Thank you, Norfolk State, for Nate Oates.
Yes, I forgot about that. UConn and Oklahoma.
Oh my God! And I said Florida does not want to see UConn, and there they are.
Second game. Oh my God. That we're gonna get some damn good matchups this weekend.
This tournament is about to be electric.
This is incredible. Memphis and Colorado State. I love Memphis. Memphis is red hot right now.
And I love Nick Clifford at Colorado State. He's my favorite player in the country right now that doesn't play for Alabama. I love Nick Clifford. He's going to the NBA lottery. That guy. He's insane.
That's that dude. He's electric. That game is going to be electric.
I like Memphis too. I like how they've been playing. I like PJ Haggerty. I like Dane Danger. I like everything about Memphis. But this I'm excited for that matchup.
I do like PJ Haggerty a lot too. I think he's one of the better players in the nation. You got Maryland and Grand Canyon.
Wow. Florida, buckle up. You've got some teams in your region.
As far as depth goes, this may be the best March Madness I've ever seen. Missouri and Missouri's a 6 seed. They're going to be playing. This is in Wichita. They're playing Drake.
That's a interesting matchup, and I'll say Missouri gave Florida a run in the SEC tournament. That's a pretty close in proximity matchup too, right? Both teams should have a lot
geographically.
But that's
Wichita, so not really far.
Both teams should have a lot of fans there. That could be one of the most electric games in terms of how loud it is in the arena.
Ooh, guns up. Texas Tech, 3 seed.
That's a team to look out for. Jacob Toppin, and Chance McMillan. Love Texas Tech.
They give me Final Four vibes. They're playing UNC Wilmington, who I think they'll beat.
UNC Wilmington. I was really hoping William and Mary would come out of that conference. Also UNC Wilmington. I'm never going to forgive you for beating Delaware. That would have been an electric team to get in. But
yeah, the Blue Hens, baby.
You deserve to get beat by Texas Tech for that.
Ooh, that second round matchup from a couple years ago, Kansas and Arkansas.
Man, that was electric. That and no more Musselman. We'll see. Did Arkansas really deserve to get in though? That's been a big topic. I know they get Boogie Flan back from injury. Kansas been on the downfall. They started the year at preseason number 1, and they end up as a 7 seed.
That's the downfall of Kansas this year.
In Providence, Rhode Island.
That's a far haul. St. John's is playing Omaha. So the Johnnies are a 2 seed.
Don't sleep on Omaha. They're not bad. I think St. John's will get by them. Omaha's a good team. I like Omaha a little bit.
My God, there's so many good games. Holy shit, this is unbelievable.
I mean, this region I think is for me the toughest. I think Texas Tech, St. John's, Maryland, Florida, and UConn, along with your teams that I don't think can make the Final Four, Missouri, Drake, Kansas. I mean, it's everywhere.
Even Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, they haven't been playing great basketball as of late, but they have a top 10 pick in Jeremiah Fears. This Memphis and Colorado State. We didn't even mention them.
Yeah, Memphis is one of the hottest teams in the nation right now. I would not want any part of that.
And Grand Canyon has Tyon Grant Foster, who was a bona fide NBA prospect this year. He's 24 years old. He started his career at Kansas. He's transferred a couple times. Grand Canyon, a consistent NCAA tournament team. They have the potential to do damage as well.
Oh yeah. There's like the mid majors in this, like having. I've been saying the past couple weeks, I think Arkansas is scary. Like they're one of those teams being coached by Calipari, like just waiting for them to hit their stride at the right time. Drake is one of those teams I've been waiting to break through. Missouri is a favorable matchup because Missouri can either come out and drop 100 on your head or they can be off. And if Drake catches them on an off day, Drake will take advantage. Love the Drake.
Drake is a team that's been consistent all year. I mean, they have good wins. They have wins over Power 5 teams. I know they beat Miami earlier in the year, and I know Miami wasn't good this year by any means. They weren't even average this year by any means. But at the time, Miami was undefeated and ranked.
Yeah, so I mean, it's okay. Here's the first four out were West Virginia, Indiana, Ohio State, and Boise State.
I'm really disappointed West Virginia didn't get in. That was a team that I love. Javon Small, their point guard. Tucker DeVries was hurt. If he wasn't hurt, they would have gotten in. And the SEC had 14 teams in. And that is just – the only two teams that didn't get in were LSU and South Carolina, and both of those teams just got beat up every night. I understand not putting Boise State in. Indiana, like you said, they didn't have the metrics. And Ohio State was at a 41 net is very interesting to me. I didn't think that they were anywhere near a 41 net. Overall, not mad about the first four out and the last four in. Would rather have seen West Virginia in there instead of North Carolina. That's just
I was going to say, too, I would replace the Tar Heels with West Virginia. Because if we're going to go by the complete body of work metric of evaluation, I think West Virginia takes the cake over North Carolina. I don't think it's even a conversation.
Right. And I mean, that's just – but you know what? There's one or two of those every year. And the NCAA Tournament Committee, who I think most of the time does a pretty good job, they decided, you know what? We think North Carolina is a better team. I don't know if there's any just brand bias in there, but overall, I have no problems with it. We'll see. North Carolina might win their first four game, and they might win a tournament game.
I could see. I'm trying to think back on the bracket right now. It honestly. Let me pull up on my phone. It's going to be out all over right now. Now it's officially released. This day is so electric. I love watching these mid-major teams react to getting picked.
This is one of my national holidays.
Oh, this is incredible.
Don't call me, don't text me on Thursday or Friday. I will not be.
I'm locked in.
Phone.
I'm locked in. I'm not going out or anything. Like I'm locked into watching these games.
Absolutely, and I hope my professors didn't schedule any tests for that game. I will be in front of my TV. And guess what? This is only the start to a beautiful 3-4 weeks of basketball, and after that, we get the Masters too.
Yes, sir.
Spring is officially here.
Spring is upon us, and I'm still a NASCAR guy. It's tough. It's tougher for me to get into now because of the segments, but there's certain races like Talladega.
Yep.
Like I gotta watch Talladega, Darlington, Charlotte. Like there's some races where that really make the spring for me. Like that, the Masters, March Madness. Once you get to May, it really kind of cools off. I like the NBA playoffs, but it's not this to me.
All right. I think real quickly we should go through and give me who you think should have come out of the region, just freshly, not thought about it, just based off matchups, and who you think could be the biggest bracket buster in the region.
So we're gonna go through each region.
Yeah.
Let's start with the South.
What you got?
I think the team that comes out of the South is Michigan State. I think the team that has the ability to really fuck some people's brackets up in that region is, you know what? I'm going to say it. Louisville.
Interesting.
Louisville. Because I think they can beat Auburn on Saturday. And then they play Michigan, and then they can beat them too. I think Louisville can really fuck some things up for people.
For me, I'm going to go with exactly what you said with Michigan State comes out of that bracket. I like Sparty. I saw a stat that when Michigan State wins at Michigan, they've made the Final Four 8 out of 11 times. When they don't win at Michigan, they've never made the Final Four. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go with trends here, and I think that the team that can make the most noise and bust the most brackets up is the winner of that San Diego State North Carolina matchup. And I don't know who it's going to be. I think San Diego State is a good team. They can beat. I think both of them are capable of beating Ole Miss, and I think that Iowa State is vulnerable to Lipscomb, like you said earlier. And I think that both those teams have the potential that if they get hot, they can make a run.
I actually like that, especially with the Ole Miss matchup. Like you're looking at that Ole Miss in the first round, and then I think Iowa State's really talented, but I think Iowa State's very beatable too. I think Iowa State's very vulnerable. So like I can see a team. I can already see the path for San Diego State or North Carolina. They pass Ole Miss in the first round. I can see them moving on. And
two teams that have done it before. Fun. They've both done it before too.
Yeah, like these are like these seasoned teams like that. Like that's why I'm heavy on Gonzaga.
Right.
It's because it's the teams like that you have to look out for.
All right. So we move to the East.
Let's go over to the East. And so this one, I think the team that comes out of this, I'm honestly going to still stick with Duke. I'm going to stick with Duke. I was flirting between them and Arizona, but I'm going to stick with Duke.
Fair enough. Who's your bracket buster?
I think that your bracket buster, and I want to say, I would love to see Alabama go far, but it's tough. It's tough to replicate after a run like they had last year, and the injuries right now, I don't think are very favorable. And so I would love to see the run again, but it's just the time. Everything has to be right, and I'm not sure it is right now. So yeah, Duke or Arizona to me, but I like Duke, and my bracket buster for this region. You know what? They've done it before, and I think they can do it again. VCU.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you on VCU. I love what they got going. I love Max Shulga. I love Joe Bemesil. I've already said it a couple times. Jackson off the bench. They've got a lot of guys, a lot of like athletic wings, and that just do it. Like I love that.
There's a lot to get excited for with VCU.
And I'll say, you know who I think is going to come out of this region. It's no surprise that I'm going to pick my Alabama Crimson Tide. You mentioned the injuries. I want to see what happens to Grant Nelson, but if Flagg's not healthy either, I think Duke's very beatable for Alabama.
That's a good point. That's a solid point.
I could see maybe a surprise team coming out of it, like Arizona, maybe. I mean, this is the most wide open region to me because of
Arizona is more to be like how they've been playing lately.
I agree.
And when you have that much momentum on the second half of the year, like it seems like Arizona historically is very dangerous in the tournament.
I agree.
So then we got the Midwest
region.
I think that the team that comes out of it, I'm not going to overthink it. I think it's Houston. I think if they stay healthy, they cruise. And then Gonzaga is your bracket buster.
I like it.
It's ironic because they play each other, but that's just when I look at this overall bracket. There's also a couple upsets that I see here. I could see McNeese. I could see Purdue pulling off upsets here.
you're betting on whoever comes out of Wichita to do some serious damage in the tournament.
Yes, absolutely.
For me, I'm going to go with to come out of your bracket. I'm going to go with your boys at SIU Edwardsville. No, I'm messing around. I'm messing around. For me, I'm not going to overthink it either. I'm going to take Houston as well.
I was going to say electric story if SIU Edwardsville pulled it off.
Right. We wouldn't be mad. Our brackets would be hurt, but we wouldn't be mad. But
it'd be cinema.
And then I'm going to say, there's so many good choices for who could bust your bracket here. I can't narrow it down to one. I'm going to say Utah State down at below. I think they could score more than Tennessee. I'm falling into the Mountain West darling of Utah State. The
Mountain West teams.
But if not, I'll go with High Point.
Ooh.
The offense is good for me. I like offense. I like exciting ways of basketball, and so I don't know if this is more of what I think is going to happen or how I'm picking with my heart.
They could be the high point of the tournament.
They could. I like that one.
See what there?
That might be a bracket name.
The high. Don't tempt me. It's either going to be that or the boys of Edwardsville.
The boys, yeah. SIU Edwardsville. I will be joining the SIU Edwardsville bracket group on ESPN.
I'm part of the fan club.
Let's say we're rooting for him.
I'm SIUE, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Suey.
It's Suey. And then we got the West region. I have a clear-cut favorite to win it all right now. It's Florida. So that's who I have coming out of the West. But as far as a bracket buster goes, Arkansas. A team that's been paying a lot of attention to these past couple weeks. I think ever since that Kentucky game, they've started to believe in themselves a lot more. And so I want to see how that translates into the West region. But I could very well see it coming down to Florida and Arkansas to go to San Antonio.
Dude, this is the most stacked region of the bracket. I could tell you 4 teams that could make it out. I mean, I love all the top 4 seeds. I love Memphis. I love UConn still. I always said death by UConn. It's inevitable. Man, I love this bracket so much. I'm going to say Florida. I mean, it's a safe choice. They're playing the best basketball of anybody in the country. I think they're disrespected in the West region. And I think that they're going to honestly use that as it's tough to say a team that has won the SEC tournament can get extra motivation. This is extra motivation. As far as my bracket buster goes, I'm going to go. I don't want to fall into the trap again. Give me my boys at Colorado State and Neat Clifford. I love the Mountain West. I'm going to get bit in the ass by it again. But Missouri, another team. I like Missouri to be dangerous in this bracket, and I think that they can beat everybody in their pod. That's what I've got. There's a lot. The West is going to give me a headache. I'm going to be studying this for about another hour and a half.
Me too. I'm about to really dive into the data here.
This West region is tough, and I have pity on Florida. They almost similar to what happened to Auburn last year after they won the SEC tournament and seemingly got the hardest draw possible.
Look, I'm not going to mince my words here. Florida's gotten fucked all year from the rankings to now this. They've gotten fucked all year. And I don't think that there's a team out there, maybe Michigan State, because they've gotten disrespected by the St. John's narrative these past couple weeks, which I like, but I think that Michigan State's a significantly better team too.
Right.
But Florida, all year long, I thought they've been better than Auburn. I thought they've been better than Alabama. They proved it twice they're better than Alabama. I don't lie on it. Like, they just match up great with us. They've proved 2 times out of 3 they're better than Tennessee. They are clearly the best team in the SEC. And yet they still get disrespected. And so this is an absolute lethal combination of the most talented team, the most aligned team in college basketball, and you're giving that team motivation. I haven't seen a combination like this in a while, and it's terrifying.
Yep. I mean, and you know what? They're going to have to earn it too.
They are. They're gonna have to earn it, but I think they are well equipped, and Florida is my favorite to win it all right now. But I can't wait to start picking this thing, and yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, once you hop off here, I'm gonna hit the lab and start studying even more because college football is my wheelhouse. You know, I know college basketball very well, but I'm excited to jump into the numbers, hop onto Ken Palm here soon, and just start grinding shit because this is going to be a very exciting time. Oh, hey there, buddy.
Hey,
Drover. Folks, this is Drover.
Who's Drover got?
He's paying us a visit. Drover, who do you got? You got Alabama? Is Alabama going to win it all? That's right. Roll Tide.
That's a good boy right there.
He knows. He's a smart dog. Drover don't mess around.
I saw him walking around back there behind you for a second. I was wondering who that was.
Oh yeah, Drover is it. Drover's a menace. He'll always disrupt.
Yeah, I got you.
I love the guy. But this is we have a great bracket set up, and Luke and I are going to be giving you coverage throughout this entire bracket. I'm thinking I definitely want to hop on to do a live for the Natty. I think both Final Four games would be great to do as well, and then just kind of breakdowns after each round. I'm thinking like after round of 64 gets done, after round of 32 gets done, just hopping on and breaking it down, and we'll actually be together live on the weekend of the 28th. We will both be in Tuscaloosa, so
maybe we can get a live reaction show going.
Hey, I mean, we could always pop out at Ennis or something with the content. I mean, or straight from Sigma Nu, and that's where all the action's going to be.
Hey, nobody does it like Sig Nu.
That's right, baby. You know it. Live it, believe it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well,
hey, thanks for hopping on, Luke. This is awesome. I this is one of my favorite days of the year, and so it's great to celebrate with somebody who appreciates it as much. And I can't wait for some great basketball these next couple of days.
Always a pleasure. I've been missing it since Luke Close Tuesdays. We haven't been doing it since college football ended, but I'm glad, and we'll definitely hop back on here, get the people what they want, some more coverage of the tournament, best sporting event of the year.
We're back, baby, and hey, SEC, gotta make it known, best conference in the land. We are,
sir. Yes, sir.
Well, hey, brother, roll Tide, and we'll be back on here soon.
Yes, sir.
See you, Luke.
See ya.